So my Shadow Army, so today Shadow Critias back again with another anime what if video. So today I bring you guys another Chainsaw Man video. Something I haven't done for quite a bit now that I haven't done any Chainsaw Man related video, honestly. And this is something that it came to my mind by a YouTuber who did a what if scenario of this, and that is what if Denji ran away with Reze? And this was the most difficult thing I tried to come up how I want this to go, but I'm not gonna go into the story. This is more just a discussion. What if, like, how would this play out? How would this change the events of the timeline? And when I was thinking of this and read the Bomb Girl Devil arc, and literally I just read it like yesterday and just finished it today, and when I look into it and watch some video about Reze, and this, the more I think about it, the more I feel like this actually would make a lot more sense. This scenario, if Denji did run away with Reze, it would be similar to these three stories. Two of them based from a movie, which is the Captain America movie, The Winter Soldier, and the Civil War, and a story of Romeo and Juliet, which makes a lot more sense and interesting scenario here. Like, you have Reze, who's basically taken by the Russian soldier by turning her into a super soldier and make her a hybrid. There you go, hybrid. I couldn't get the word, of half human, half devil, being a bomb girl, a bomb devil, whatever, and to able to kill Denji and go after the Chainsaw Man heart. And if you look at Reze's character and her emotion, she actually found someone that she could relate to, someone that could understand her, someone that she could actually fall in love with. And Denji actually started to have some conflicted of his love with her and Makima, and so basically Denji actually start to fall in love with Reze, and keep this in mind, Reze was the only first real girl who actually helped Denji to know what it's like to be in school. She taught Denji how to read, how to write, how to spell, how to learn, and also taught Denji how to swim. I mean, what do you think happened in part 2? That Denji actually go to school because of Reze. And so basically, Reze does have a thing for Denji, and the only best way I can see this scenario will play out is where Reze actually kissed Denji, but in this type of scenario, she doesn't bite Denji's tongue out. She instantly kissing Denji. No betrayal, none of that, just normal actual kiss. And I can see Denji's reaction that this is not like how that Himeno did to Denji. Ugh, I don't want to go into that. This is actually the actual kiss, and Denji is enjoying. And now the kiss is melting away, that Denji decided that she meant it, that she actually is in love with Denji. And now Denji finally have this girl who accept him who he is, who wants his human heart, not the Chainsaw Devil heart. Because in the manga, when Denji and Reze battle out, Denji cries out saying, "Why does everyone accept after my devil's heart? What about my heart? What about my human heart?" And that's one thing that Denji was so upset about, that why can't everyone just accept me who I am instead of just accepting the other side of me? What about me? What about me as Denji? and Reze is the only one who accepts Denji who he is. And I can see Denji decided that he is going to run away with Reze, which this is not gonna be easy because, well, remember I said it's like the Winter Soldier shenanigan? Well, you have Makima and Aki and his squad, along with the Russia and also the other hunters around the world, who also wants to have Denji's Chainsaw Man's heart. So it's kind of like Hydra hunting down Captain America and Black Widow. That sort of shenanigan. So yeah, so basically Denji and Reze had to, you know, hide and blend in and not be seen. Kind of like what Reze did, try to hide herself from Makima, but failed. Which Makima would know that Denji will betray, because Makima is not dumb, because she's a control devil. She sees everything, which Reze did point out that Makima will see everything. So yeah, even though in the manga that Aki was the one who came and saved Denji, but it wasn't ordered by Makima. It was Aki's free will to save Denji. But in this scenario here, I feel like Makima would tell Aki to, well, kill Denji now because he's just betrayed. So yeah, and I can see a bit of a conflicted to Aki, that he started to grow care and close to Denji or something like that. Because keep in mind, this is in the Bomb Devil arc, but I feel like Aki will be like, he knew not to trust Denji, but he was slowly starting to care for him, but now this happened. So yeah, and I feel like Aki would be kind of pissed that after everything everything just happened, and now Himeno is dead, and now this is what Denji does now, decide to betray everything, and that caused a loss of Himeno or something like that. And let's say it didn't go well, that they couldn't get Denji and Reze, they managed to escape, but they still had to deal with the other hunters who are hunting both of them. So that's not gonna be fucking easy for them. And so basically the Civil War thing, who are after Denji, yeah, that's basically happening. Like, they're after Denji, Makima, Aki, and the other hunters in Russia are trying to hunting down both Denji and Reze of their betrayal. And the only thing I can see how would this play out in a way, like both Denji and Aki come across what's his name? Kishibe? I think that's his name, Kishibe. The one who trained Power and Denji once. Because he did start to have some suspicions about Makima and her goal and her plan. So I think he would help Denji and Reze to hide. Kind of like how he did with Denji and Kobeni, like in the canon, to hide them. And I can see this would happen in a way, but in the scenario it would be Denji and Reze. And basically Kishibe would be like kind of like Nick Fury in a way. And then I think this is where they would start attack Makima, because she's a control devil. And this is where Denji starts to learn that Reze was a lie and that Makima cannot be trusted. And then I think this is where Reze would have to tell the truth to Denji, that she was sent by the Russian military or the government to kill Denji. But this will shock Denji, but at the same time he will forgive her, and that he's grateful that there's someone who accepted who he is. And it will not turn out well as at the end. And since Makima couldn't find Denji or wherever he's at, I feel like Makima would decide to move her plan into motion by getting people to force to accept the contract to Makima as a control devil, which means that dealing with the gun devil, and that means Aki would become a gun fiend and gets killed by Denji, like this kind of scenario, and Power does end up dead by the hands of the gun devil, so Power would be killed by the gun devil off screen, and so basically everything goes south in a way, and I can see two different endings how would this would end in this scenario, a good way or a bad way. So I want to cut that out of the way. So basically, let's start with the bad ending. I can see this, the final battle, where kind of like similar in canon, where Denji is not in I can see this. Denji and Reze goes with Kishibe to decide to take down Makima. Everything went smoothly, and both Reze and Denji separate until Makima decided to go to Reze, basically like she did in canon, in a way, like killing Reze, but this time she kills Reze permanently and decided to break Denji's heart by taking the head of Reze, and this breaks Denji to go into full berserk in a way, and decided to go fully fucking rampage on the other hybrids are now under control by Makima, Quan Chi, Katana Man, and the other hybrids in a way. And in this scenario, Denji will lose to Makima, and Makima finally actually won and fulfilled a goal and finally had the Chainsaw Man's heart, and basically turned everyone around the world under her control to do her bidding, and makes everyone make everyone her dog, because she sees humans as a pet, nothing but a dog, a slave dog in a way. So both Reze and Denji would die by the hands of Makima, because keep in mind, this is Denji in the second arc of the Bomb Girl arc. So basically Denji would not know anything about, okay, how do we take down Makima or something like that. So Denji wouldn't know. So yeah, so basically Denji and Reze would have been killed and Makima would have won. But with a good ending, I feel like Kishibe will give some plan that Denji must to rip out his devil heart, so let the Chainsaw Man to face Makima, because Makima is so focused on the smell of the devil, but not the smell of the human. So basically, Chainsaw Man and Reze had to distract and face Makima, where Denji gets the killing blow. Basically the similar thing of like in the actual canon timeline, but with the actual chainsaw, not the blood chainsaw, with the actual chainsaw as well. And I actually can see that goes well. Well, the Chainsaw Man gets killed by Makima, and Reze is fully injured, and Makima thought she won, but apparently Denji kills Makima, and I can see Denji be so upset and frustrated that he trusted Makima. He trusted her with his life because she found him, she gave him a new life, she gave him a new home, she gave him family, and then she takes that away from him, and all because that she was manipulated to everyone, sees everyone as a tool, and she never cares about Denji or his human heart, only care about his devil's heart, his Chainsaw Man heart. So So basically, the only way to make sure Makima doesn't come back is, well, is to eat her, like the actual canon. So basically, the Gun Devil and the Control Devil has been taken care of way earlier of those two arcs, the Bomb Devil Gore arc and the Hunting arc. That's what I'm going to call it in a way, and because I don't remember the name of the actual arc for that one. So basically, both Reze and Denji are now the only two people are available to hunt down and kill devils. And now Denji and Reze will now have to take care of, well, the dogs and take care of Nayuta, the new reincarnation of the Control Devil. So basically, Denji and Reze are now a boyfriend-girlfriend, and they just adopt a child. Because in the actual part 2, Denji sees Nayuta as a actual sister. But now in this, since Reze and Denji are now officially a couple as boyfriend-girlfriend, Nayuta is, well, Denji's daughter. And Denji and Reze to name their last name based of Aki. I cannot remember the name, or I can't even say the name, honestly. So basically, Denji and Reze will raise Nayuta to be better, to give her Nayuta a better life. And Denji does go to school with Reze, so Denji could learn these certain things, something that he never had. So yeah, that's the only good thing that I could say. Honestly, the good ending for Denji and Reze, if Denji did run away with Reze. I just want to give you guys the two different endings of the good endings and the bad endings, where Denji and Reze died and Makima won, which was the bad ending, and the good ending where Denji actually kills Makima like in canon, and Denji and Reze have a normal life, live in the countryside, and raise Nayuta, and both of them do go to school to be a normal people. So that's the good ending for both of them, honestly. And so basically part 2 would be almost similar in a way, but not really, since Denji is now with someone who accepted who he is and finally have something that he wants, something he never had, his own family, the right woman who accepted who he is, not see someone as a tool for sexual assault or twisting game or whatever. So yeah, I can see those two types of scenario how it would end if Denji did run away with Reze. And again, I can see the scenario be that mix of the Winter Soldier, the Civil War, and Romeo and Juliet scenario. And when I meant this was really difficult for me, how this scenario would play out, it was fucking difficult. Because it really was hard for me to think of how this would play out, to tell a story of it. So yeah, this is how I see would play out, because it would not be hard, it would not be easy for both of them, honestly, to deal with all these obstacles. And the ending, I can see a good or bad way in a way. Makima wins, or Denji and Reze has a new life, and raise Nayuta and live in the countryside instead, live in the city or something like that. I can see those two type of way, or two endings. So yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts, opinion down below, how you guys would think it would play out in this scenario. Do you think it should end in a good way or the bad way of what I just mentioned? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channels, my social media, we down below. Scratch you guys know Joe. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Yeah, before Critias, I'll see you guys later.